guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we are starting a new model community. Now, as you guys know, I recently started the 75-gallon nano community of South American fish, and I thought that I would take the opportunity while my stock list is a little low to utilize one of my 20-gallon longs to do the same thing. So I've gone outside and I've gathered some materials, and I thought that we would take this 20-gallon up here, which we'll take a look at in a minute, and do a fresh aquascape on it, and then I can have you guys help me pick what you think should go inside it. So let's take a closer look and get started. Because this aquarium is substantially smaller, being a standard 20-gallon long, I just grabbed a few pieces of river wood and some elephant skin stone to use for my scape in this aquarium. However, there is one unique obstacle that we have to face. This aquarium has been running for probably about 10 years now, and it has this beautiful thick carpet of some short unknown crypt, and I really don't want to have to pull that out. So right now there is fluorite substrate in here, and I may just leave that simply because this crypt thicket is so gorgeous. So I'm going to see if I can get away with only minimally disrupting this in order to redo this scape. I think that these would be just a real shame to disrupt. So I'm going to start just like I did the last one by draining this aquarium, as well as cleaning the glass. Now to do this, I just started the siphon, and then I'm going to take a razor blade. This tank has always had duckweed, so I'm just going to go along the edges and scrape off any that I can to try and get rid of it in this aquarium. Now that's probably not going to work, but we can at least make the glass look a little bit better. Whoops, can't climb a step higher than it exists. Now, as I mentioned, this is an aquarium that for years has just been used as sort of a second tier quarantine, as it does have substrate and plants, and it is on a top level. And I try and prevent dripping from one tank to another and put the newest quarantine stuff lower in the fish room. Cross-contamination is always an issue, so I do the best I can. But again, this is an old aquarium, so we're certainly not going to get it to look perfect. But we can certainly make it look a heck of a lot better by just cleaning the glass, getting off all the adhesive from the years of labels and whatnot, and give it a really good cleaning. I'm going to stop my siphon for now. And get a rag to wipe down the glass. You'd be amazed what just cleaning glass can do to an aquarium's appearance, and I am notoriously bad about doing so. It's just that one extra step that I rarely ever take. So I'm going to grab my Hardscape materials and pull them up here and see if I can't make what I chose fit without disrupting that crypt carpet too much. You see, often if you disrupt a thick carpet of things like crypts like that, the entire thing will melt, and I really don't want that to happen. As my main stone, I picked this one, and it's elephant skin stone, and I just think it has a lot of character and is really interesting. So I'm just going to make sure, gosh, I really don't want to wreck this whole carpet. There's like 5 pieces of wood in this aquarium that I didn't even know were there. 6. Oh, and then you're 8 now. Feel free, little friend. Now it does look like that'll fit there, but I have this big piece of wood that I want to sort of wrap around it, so it may or may not work out. And one of the biggest obstacles of using wood with stone is making them look like they actually work together. And I am certainly not the best at this, but I'm going to see what I can do for you guys. And again, I'm trying to do this in a way that is not going to totally disrupt this crypt carpet, but still add some new dimension and interest to this aquarium. And of course, after we get this all cleaned up and put together, I'll give you guys a much closer look. Now, one of the things I'm trying to do with this wood as well is provide some places for me to anchor plants, as well as some interesting hidey holes for the fish. Now, as always, this wood is not pre-soaked, so it may or may not cooperate with us. So I've gathered together a few plants from around the fish room. We have some Anubias nana, some Anubias nana petite, some Christmas moss, and a little boost that I want to try and use to add to the cryptscape up there. I'm going to give it a few minutes to clear up and then we'll take a closer look. So this is the initial placement. There are 4 pieces of wood and 3 stones placed around this crypt thicket. Obviously it has quite a bit of clearing up to do yet, but and then I have to take the plants that I want to use and place them around this center section to build it up. But I think it's a healthy start. So while our new 20 long is clearing up from me putting in all the hardscape and cramming plants in there, let's talk a little bit about what my thought process is behind this aquarium. Now, I knew with the 75 gallon that I did a few weeks ago that not everyone could fit that big of an aquarium in their house or in the space they have. But I thought it was going to be a really interesting aquarium to show you guys sort of how little fish behave in a bigger aquarium. But it made me really think. I want to do an aquarium that pretty much any of you could do. I'm using basic fluorite substrate, which you can buy pretty much anywhere for pretty inexpensive. That aquarium has shop lights over it, so again, it's like a $15 lighting solution. And it's relatively inexpensive hardscape. Now, for some of you, it may be a little bit more difficult than others to source it, but you can usually find little pieces of driftwood and knobby rocks at most decent aquarium stores. Now, the goal for this aquarium is to showcase another small fish in a slightly larger group. I think the tendency a lot of times in community aquariums is to get a bit of collectoritis, where we want to have a few of a lot of different fish, thinking that all those different colors will provide a really big visual punch. But the reality is, a lot of the time when you keep them in fewer numbers, their behavior is not so great and they become less visible in the aquarium. So for this particular aquascape, I was trying to set up a little bit of dimension in order to play with the levels of the aquarium, as well as plant it to capacity. And what I mean by that is I like to use as many plants as possible when I'm setting up a new aquarium. I feel like this sort of helps fight off some of the algae that is pretty common in new setups, and it gives it a better overall appearance. Now, because this aquarium has technically been running for a decade, the bioload or the nitrifying bacteria within the aquarium is well established. But it's still only a 20-gallon aquarium, which means I'm going to have to stock it in stages. So what I'd like to know from you guys is, which fish do you want to see go in there first? I think I'm going to do something with some dwarf cories, as well as a small schooler, and really I just need your input. This is again going to be another South American aquarium. We will get to the Asian and Indian aquariums, I promise. I'm pretty excited about it, but first I have to clear a bunch of tanks down here. Anyway, let's take a look at that aquarium now that it's cleared up and I can get your guys' opinion. So this is what it looks like right now. It still has some clearing up to do, and I am eager for the driftwood to leach some tannins to give it that yellow stained water. As I mentioned, I'm thinking of either ember tetras or the black darter tetras in here, maybe some dwarf cories. Not entirely sure, but you can see that this crypt carpet is really impressive. And again, I apologize, I don't know what kind it is, but I've had it for about 8 years. It was a single loner plant that someone sent to me with a trade I did at one point. Then we have Anubias nana, Anubias petite, some narrow leaf java fern, a little bit of boost, and various Christmas moths shoved in nooks and crannies. Stay tuned for Thursday and I'll show you an update on this aquarium when it's completely settled down. But I think for now it's looking all right. Not entirely sure I'll keep this rock. But all in all, I think it'll be a great aquarium for little tiny schooling fish to utilize all levels of the water column. And again, the goal is to have a low tech, no fertilizers, no CO2, basic lighting, cheap substrate, and still have it be a pretty attractive aquarium. And I think I've achieved that. Let me know what you guys think below. So just to recap real quick, I'm doing this community in order to sort of showcase the versatility of all these little fish that I'm so passionate about. I'm hoping that this kind of aquarium will be inspiring for you guys with your own aquariums at home in order to sort of figure out how and what to put in them and different ways to anticipate their behavior. We'll see how it works out for me. As always, thanks for your continued support. Make sure you stop by my Instagram, my Facebook, and my website, MsJinx.com, where you can find my upcoming speaking engagements, my current stock list, and information on all things nano. Let me know below if you guys have any comments, suggestions, or questions, and what your opinion of this new scape is.